I'm Tommy D from the KnicksBlog.com. We just talked about the playoff matchup with the Heat. The other alternative is the Chicago Bulls. Joining me in studio, again, Brian Geltzeiler from Hoops Critic. Hello, sir.
Hello, Tom.
And Moke Hamilton from Sheridan Hoops. Hi, Moke.
Hey, Tommy. How you doing?
I'm going to start with you. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of the matchup between the Bulls and the Knicks. In your opinion, and I know you've written it and you've been firm about it, there are a lot of good signs, good qualities, which is probably why a lot of fans think that it's a good matchup and why they would like to see the Knicks have the 8th seed against the Bulls, who are the first seed.
Yeah, well, for me, the biggest thing with the matchup with the Bulls is I think if Derrick Rose is not 100% healthy, then there's a good chance that Carmelo Anthony could be the best player on the court. In the NBA playoffs, when you're playing a best-of-7 series, the team with the best player usually wins. That being said, Carmelo also has the ability to play the stretch 4 position. He might be able to pull Taj Gibson and Carlos Boozer away from the basket, open things up for Chandler and Amari Stoudemire in the pick and rolls, and maybe create some problems for the Bulls on the defensive end.
Defensively, obviously, we know what the Bulls can do. They're going to turn the Knicks into a jump shooting team, which really, if J.R. Smith can make his jumpers, and specifically Steve Novak, they could give the Bulls fits. It's going to be a slow-paced game. Does that suit well for the Knicks, who consistently all year long have been a very fast-paced team?
I think it suits very well for the Knicks, Tommy. The truth of the matter is the Knicks have played a lot of up-tempo this year. Their personnel is better suited to a slower tempo game. The problem for the Knicks in the respect of that is that, Carmelo Anthony on the low block is a big offensive weapon for the Knicks. The Bulls are so good on the interior, and if you want to create a matchup for Carmelo, as you said before, with Gibson or Boozer, you'd have to pull him away from the basket. So that could hurt the Knicks a little bit. But I think slow tempo is better for the Knicks, and Shumpert's defense on Rose certainly has potential to force Rose into some turnovers and some bad shots.
And that's a great point as we get to the Rose-Shumpert matchup. If Rose isn't 100%, he's going to need more screens. And my thing with Shumpert is that he always switches on screens, Moke, and that's going to provide maybe a mismatch for in the Bulls' favor. But if Rose is right, especially at the end of games, they like to go low 1-4 and just let him create off the dribble, and that's an advantage for the Knicks, to me, if he's not 100%, because I think Shumpert can actually do a decent job of getting in front of him and forcing him into difficult shots.
Right. That's true. And now the thing is, as far as Derrick Rose is concerned, you kind of have to stay in front of him because as we saw in the past couple of games between the Knicks and the Bulls, what happens when Derrick Rose breaks you down in the perimeter and he gets the basket? Tyson Chandler likes to try to challenge those shots. And what that does is it opens up the offensive rebounding opportunities for the Bulls. And that's kind of where they've just mauled the Knicks in the past. So if he is not 100%, but the Bulls still do play the same offensive scheme, I think Shumpert probably can stay in front of him, probably can keep him out of the perimeter and slow him down a little bit.
2 X factors to me. Number 1 are the officials. Number 2 are guys like Kyle Korver and Rip Hamilton. Who are your X factors for both the Knicks and the Bulls?
I like your X factors for the Bulls and Korver and Hamilton because I think those guys will make shots here and there. I think it's very important for the Knicks in that scenario to punish the Bulls for having those two and Carlos Boozer as weaker defenders on the court. When Thibodeau goes with those groups, you have to try to exploit those guys. As far as the Knicks X factor goes, I think Novak's one, and I think J.R. Smith and Shumpert are 2 others offensively. How are you going to punish Korver? How are you going to punish Boozer and Rip? Well, the guys that they're guarding have to be aggressive going to the basket. Shumpert and JR are going to play big roles in that to try to punish the Bulls for having weaker defenders on the floor.
X factors for the Bulls and the Knicks, specifically starting with the Knicks to keep them in the series.
Well, I'm going to go with the power forward matchup of Carlos Boozer and Amari Stoudemire. Amari's just getting back. He still needs to get his rhythm. I think we kind of know that. But the biggest thing is you need to see more chemistry between Amari and Carmelo. The only way the Knicks will win this series is if they find a way to consistently work together. Boozer, got to play great defense, got to control the boards, and I think the better power forward will win the series for his team.
And Amari, in speaking of that, needs to close out possessions and rebounds. We know Chandler can do it. The guards need to do it too. Fields, specifically Shumpert. If they can get rebounds off of difficult bull shots, specifically from Rose, they can gather possessions and have more possessions and have more opportunities for jump shots and for Carmelo in the post or in the stretch. That's a big X factor for me, and that's where a guy like Jared Jeffries comes into the mix. If he's healthy, then he can keep those possessions alive or close those possessions on the defensive end, keep him alive on the offensive end because of his length, and give Tyson Chandler some rest. to me, Brian, that's a big portion of what the Knicks need to do if they want to stay in the series.
It certainly is. And the other thing is rebounding. The Bulls are a superb offensive rebounding team. The Knicks, and it's simple, you got to box out and keep them off the glass. You got to do it with everybody. And if the Knicks don't have that as a discipline, this ends quick on them. The Bulls will kill you. That's a big offensive weapon for them outside of Rose, is what they do on the offensive glass. Boxing out every time that ball's in the air. The Knicks will be defined in this series on what they do with the ball in the air.
Predictions for the series?
I'd have to say Bulls in 6.
I'm with my friend Moke. Bulls in 6.
That makes 3 of us. I'm going to say Bulls in 6. I just have a terrible feeling about the officials in this series. I think Derrick Rose is going to get a lot of calls, a la what happened last year in the Indiana Pacers series. He gets to the basket, gets to the free throw line. They're going to get a lot of points that way.
But point of advice, don't read the comments section under the video. We all took Bulls in 6. Don't read the comments.
That's a shot. And happy birthday to TKB, by the way, 4 years. Guys, as always, look forward to talking to you throughout the rest of the playoffs.
Thanks a lot.
Always my pleasure, Tom.
And remember to get all your information on the Knicks and a little NBA. Check out the comments section also, but also check out the KnicksBlog.com, part of the SNY.TV blog network. I'm Tommy D. We'll see you next time.